hopefully we have an offense that can hang up some points as well. And, Jakobi's going to be out there. Brock will be out there. Michael's going to have probably a bigger role, I think, in this game upcoming.
I hope.
Jeanty's got to be it's just, to me, our offense and Geno were really flipping good. And I'll see if I can find this stat from a show that I did earlier. It was like essentially our offense we averaged, I think it was 10.5. Here we go. Raiders averaged 10.5 pass yards per attempt and rushed for less than 2.5 yards per carry in a win for the first time since 1993. And
wow.
Yeah, right. But I think that shows how good Geno was. And if Geno's looking that good outdoors, because I probably talked about Geno outdoors more than anybody, Geno outdoors and those game elements, imagine if we could actually get our running game going. And to me, the number one matchup that I'm looking at, and I have them in a bunch of my prize picks.
Let me guess where you're going. Let me guess where you're going. Are you, because we just talked about running game. Are you going to go to the right tackle? Are you going over there to the right tackle? And Khalil Mack?
Well, I was going to try to go more positive, but that's a matchup that's not positive. If there's one player that I don't know if he's getting nearly enough, I don't want to say shit, but I don't know what the right word is. DJ Glaze did not play well.
No. Trust me, we see
JPJ did not play well this past week. Jordan Meredith was, I guess,
he's okay. He's average.
Right?
He's average.
Parham was all right. Colton Miller was elite. That's just what you expect out of Colton. But to me, my favorite matchup this week for the Raiders, if I'm the Raiders, I'm trying to get Dante Thornton Jr.
There we go. Okay.
On Terheeb Still. He is the other starting corner for the Chargers. And he's 6'1". Their other guy's 6'3", but he's slower. And he's a corner that runs more like in the 4.5s area. So to me, I'm at least just trying to get Dante Thornton on him. And even if it doesn't hit, stretch the field, throw to him. And they obviously have confidence in him, right? Because for them to throw the ball in a 3rd and 20 situation to Dante Thornton Jr. And I actually think if Geno puts a better ball on him, Thornton roasted him on the route. And, he had to slow down a little bit, which forced the slide down catch. It's all good. It was basically the biggest play of the game. But for them to go to Dante Thornton in that moment, in that game, that amount of pressure, I think just shows how much confidence they have in him. And I think that this upcoming game for Dante, there's a few matchups with some of those Chargers corners that I think that we could really take advantage of. And if we get Thornton, even Trey on Still, I think it's a good matchup.
Now, let's stay on the offense before you get out of here, brother, because I know your time is limited. But we're talking about Geno, right? 362 in the rain, nonetheless, right? Because I didn't expect that at all. I wasn't expecting the game plan to be that. So I was very happy to see that. Now, we had Jakobi Meyers get his 8 for 97, which I said after the game, you got to pay that man. You got, me personally, I feel like you got to raise something, right? Because what he's doing with no guarantee, I don't know if he has no guarantee money. I think that's what it is. But come on. Mitch, we all watch football long enough. Receivers that go over the middle the way he does, right? And he had one catch where I thought he actually got knocked out. I thought, they got him. And I was like, come on.
I saw some Raider fans saying, because I think he dropped 2 balls. I know he definitely dropped 1. But again, it's wet, it's rainy. Geno throws the ball a lot harder. So I'm like, is it a difference of Geno actually throws a real NFL football compared to he was catching footballs from Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell? And maybe people don't realize how big of a difference that is, but it's a huge difference, right? It's a guy throwing 100 compared to a pitcher throwing 92, right? It's a lot easier to hit.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if that's part of it, but there's a play that it rings in my mind of why I'm with you. Extend him more. I think if you give him a 1-year raise, and then if he hits the open market, I think the biggest reason why they're not doing it is because if he ends up hitting the open market and he ends up going somewhere else, they're going to get a 3rd, probably a 4th round comp pick because of that. So I think this organization just values the long term. But at the same time, I'm like, he's literally doing everything you're asking him to do. It's the definition of commitment to excellence. But
literally,
he just does so many things that don't show up in the box sheet. And I'm trying to remember when exactly the play was, but there was a third down, and Jakobi's lined up on the outside, and one of the Patriots corners is on him. And I didn't see what the corner did, but I remember talking about it in the game. And Jakobi looks at Geno and points at him and is like, points at Geno Smith. And then as soon as Geno calls hike, the corner blitzes. Geno hits Jakobi, third down, first down, easy pickup. It's on the right side of the field. I can literally picture the play, but I can't.
Wow.
I don't remember when in the game it was. My point is, though, like,
how do you replace that?
It's just very, very minute details when if you're trying to preach, we want guys that go to war for this team, right? Like, I was talking to somebody close to Lonnie Johnson, and I know Johnson was injured, but you know what, man? I want a guy that wants to get out there on the field so flipping bad. And sure, some people can say it's corny. Guess what? I'm a corny mother after myself, right? Like, but I love that he had his helmet on. I love that he was repping his team, because there's a lot of guys in today's day and age, like, they're not going to do that. And I know how prideful I am as a Raiders fan, and I know how much the shield means to me. Like, I just know how much it just means to me. And call me crazy, but I expect the same out of our players. And to me, Jakobi just does that type of stuff. And if we're really, truly trying to build a team that personifies commitment to excellence, personifies playing for the team on your front and not the team on your back, I just don't know how you don't extend Jakobi. And then, I'll be honest, when I said this on my show, and, people can get mad at me if they want, but the Jakobi Meyers trade request happened. A few hours later, Amari Cooper was signed. I'm telling you right now, there are players that were really pissed off about that.
As they should.
Because they're like, you're bringing in a dude that quit on this team. And Amari was on that team when certain players were quit on. And, there were certain even like staff members. And when I say staff members, I'm talking about everybody that works in that facility, right? Like, Amari Cooper quit on the Raiders, and he was not a very popular player. And then he showed up, obviously not in a lot of shape. And, these are things that I hear. Obviously, I talk about it. I'm always going to give my honest opinion. And not every move is going to be the rah-rah move. There's going to be moves that I don't like that end up looking like they're going to work out. Jamal Adams looks freaking unbelievable right now.
Yeah.
But, when you sign an Amari Cooper, when you don't extend Jakobi Meyers, and then for Jakobi to handle it the way that he's done, it's guys just don't do that anymore. And today, I don't know, to me, it's you got a super loyal girl and you're just going to let her walk out the door. Like, I think you're going to regret that decision because
it's dumb to me. It's dumb to me.
Because then what are you going to do next year? Are you going to draft a receiver really high, or are you going to go out and sign a guy? Because I believe in Dante Thornton. I believe in Trey Tucker. I want to believe in Jack Bech that he's going to be able to take that next step, no doubt about it. I get we have Mayer. I get we have Brock Bowers, but you can't just let Jakobi Meyers go out the door and not try to replace him.
Yeah.
So
agreed. Because you're talking about minute details, right? The blocking. I mean, everything he does and brings. I mean, come on now. I even feel like from a mentor standpoint, and I said this before. Now, look, personally, I was never a big Amari Cooper fan since the day we drafted him. I just was never a big Cooper fan. Again, any football player. I love him
out of Alabama.
Out of Alabama, yeah. But then when you start to watch him here and you understand the mentality that he has,
he's
anybody.
Bitch.
Yeah, bro. Let's be real, bro. He's soft as hell. You know what I mean? He's soft as hell. I remember when Stephon Gilmore took his ass out that game, that one time when he was in Dallas. I definitely remember that. I've never seen a receiver bounce back from that. You know what I mean? That shit right there is embarrassing in receiver land. So when we signed him, I was pissed too, because I know Spy Tech came out there and said it wasn't a correlation move, but the timing was very fishy. So
I'll say this, it was not a John Spy Tech move.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. And maybe, maybe he was saying the right thing. He was saying the right thing, or how it wasn't a correlation.
I promise you this, it was not a John Spy Tech move.
Well, then that makes me even more angry. That makes me even more angry, because it's like, well, shouldn't we allow him to have his say and say, well, yeah, no, I don't think this is right. But either way, we got to let them work that out behind the scenes. I just think as of right now, I think we should be paying this man. Don't allow him to go in the middle of the season doing what he's doing, and then we still haven't paid him. It just doesn't make any sense. With Thornton, I like where Thornton's at. Now, let's talk real quick before you get out of here. The main thing that everybody is concerned about, right? And that's that offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Everybody is concerned about that offensive line. And of course, from that, our 6th overall draft pick, right? Now, because I want to let you get your feelings out there. Now, me personally, I've always said, if we're going to draft him 6 overall, he has to be a focal point in some way, somehow, right? Like, okay, he's not running the ball well. He has 38 yards rushing, 2 point some average per carry. But through the whole draft process, we were told he is just as good as a receiver as he is as a running back. And not only that, we saw it in training camp. I saw it from my own eyes. So I was kind of disappointed that the staff did not get him a little more involved in the game, right? I think he needs to be more involved. And I also think there's some runs where he kind of, he didn't really take advantage of what was out there. I mean, you could tell, I think after the first couple carries where it was a little easy after the first carries, but then it got hard. After that, he was like, okay, I'm just going to make my own hole. I'm just going to do what I got to do. You know what I mean? If I see something, I'll wait for the perfect hole to open up or whatever the case. I don't think, personally, I'm going to just put my feelings out there. I don't think we should be worried right now. It's week 1. It was, the offensive line has to gel, and it was mainly offensive line and coaching, I feel like, where he didn't really do what he was supposed to do. Is there a point where we do need to be worried, though, if he does not, let's say this week, it goes the same way, right? Like, is there a point we need to start asking, like, okay, well, what's going on here? I mean, how do you feel about this whole situation?
Yeah, there's always a point, and I think like people got to look at it for the whole glass. And first, you got to look at it from your Raiders goggles. If you're a first round pick, there's the fear that it's going to be another first round bust. And I know Brock was amazing, but there's just been so many first round busts that Jeanty's obviously going to be looked at through a different lens. And we mentioned it earlier. Like sometimes I think us fans, we get frustrated because we could sit here and go, like, again, I'm not worried about Jeanty. Like, to me, I'm not worried about Ashton Jeanty. I looked at those first 3 runs, 3 carries, 22 yards, and you saw some good stuff in there. Like, to me, there was some good in there. The next 16 carries, they went for 16 yards, right? And the grass got really, like, banged out. Like, there was one play where somebody doesn't lay a block. I think it was one of the receivers on the outside. I think that would have sprung up a huge run. There was one run where he like slipped and fell in the backfield because the grass is really shitty. Like that hurt him out a little, quite a bit. I know we were talking earlier on Twitter today, but like to me, it was wet, soggy conditions in a 1-possession game. And I really think he realized, man, I got nowhere to run. So I think for me, it's just really important for me to not fumble this football. And I agree with you where to me, it's way more on the coaching staff because essentially what they were doing is they were daring us to throw the football. We were able to throw the football with Geno down the field, but they tried to take the running game away. And if that's what's going to happen, I like to call it running through the air, right? Let's do some screens. Like a great way to prevent a defense to just pinning their ears back and coming after you is set up a screen, throw it in the flat. And for as much as they worked on it this offseason, dude, they worked on it so much. So for it to not really be used, I was a little bit disappointed in that. And when they made Raheem Mostert an active, scratch, that screams to me that you're even more confident in Ashton Jeanty's ability. Zamir White, Dylan Laube, whatever, but Laube's special teams, Zamir's between the tackles, and in the game that's that rainy, I'm sorry. I mean, every time he touched the ball, it was like I had to hold my breath like I was going through a tunnel, like I was 10 years old again, right? Like, you're scared. But for Jeanty, for the way that whole game went about, my biggest knock on Chip Kelly in that game was the inability to run the football and the inability to run the ball through the air, because I get you want to establish the run, but I don't like just wasting plays, right? Like, I don't think it's smart. It's not smart for a pitcher in a 2-2 count to spike a curveball, but that's what they were doing, running the football at times because you knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. And the Patriots knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. So, I was a little bit frustrated in that. To me, there's some good tape out there when he's pass blocking. There's also some tape out there that's not great, but I just don't think it comes down to the Jeanty. I think the frustration from Raider fans is we told you that you can draft the most talented running back in the world, but if you don't address the offensive line, it doesn't matter, right? And that's the frustrating part of it. Like, I don't want to Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants. I want Saquon Barkley from the Philadelphia Eagles. Same guy, super talented, but you just got to build that O-line. And the fact that Caleb Rogers, somebody that, I'll be real, I was not loving when the Raiders drafted him. He's a healthy scratch, and you went out and you signed Alex Kappa. To me, that was the plan to fix the offensive line. And sure, you put Meredith at center, but you had him the whole offseason to go get another guard or go get somebody else. And you didn't do it. And I don't know if you all saw how well Arvin Membu played for that New York Jets team. Tackle.
Man, it made me mad, Mitch, because I came out here and said, of course I was a little emotional, but I said immediately, right, like, well, if we're going to just win games with Geno throwing for damn near 400 yards every game, we should have just drafted the tackle. At least we can protect the investment, which is Geno, because that's the way we got to win games. But
Geno's most important player on our team.
Thank you.
You can't tell me otherwise.
Thank you.
I'm not saying he's the best player on our team.
No, but he's important. He's the most important because without him, I mean, last year we lose that game. I mean, if this is the same game, we're losing this game last year. It's happening.
It's not even. I think even if, to me, there's no way in hell we're even. I think we lose that game by 2 touchdowns last season, and like even with McDaniels, I don't even care any head coach that's not Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. I don't know if they win that game, but to me, when I watched Jeanty run, and that was the number one thing that I wanted to watch, like, what do I see? And I just saw a running back, kind of like it reminded me of like a quarterback. I don't know if y'all watched the Texans game. I watched it because of my guy Chugs.
Yeah, I didn't watch
CJ Stroud, when he called hike, it was instantly he had no confidence in his offensive line, and it does, like, it impacts you. So, like, for Jeanty, he's getting the ball, and he had 44 yards after contact. I've been covering the NFL for a long time at Chat Sports. Fantasy football, my family were celebrating our 20th year for our fantasy football league. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. Thank you, man. No, it's my first ever pick, Tiki Barber, true story.
Wow.
But, like, I can't ever remember hearing a running back having more yards after contact than actual rushing yards. And
it's wild.
Like,
that's wild.
Do we hold Jeanty to a higher standard? Absolutely. But at the same time, if the offensive line can't get it going, I'm nervous. Like, but this is a big week, and we got to be able to prove it this week.
And see, that's where the frustration is. That's where all my frustration came with the draft process. Now, I don't know. I think you weren't as high on it either, but I mean, he's here now, so it is what it is. But, it was more like, I don't want a Josh Jacobs 2.0 situation, right? Like, we know we have a good running back. We know it.
Yep.
But we can't take advantage of what he can do because the offensive line isn't good, right? Yep. And now we're wasting years off of his prime years because we got to figure out the offensive line. And see, that's what's going to get on my nerves if we don't get it figured out. Now, this week, going into it, I feel like it's time for us to get that ball, through the ground and really run through their face this week if we can. Now, but the thing is, that D-line is nothing to mess with. Their D-line, as far as the Chargers, is something
through the air.
Yeah. And see, that's what frustrated me too, because it's like, Chip, you just came from college, dog. Like, you should know already, like, if we're not running the ball, I can find different ways to get my running back.
They didn't have that problem at Ohio State. Not with that
crazy. Yeah, which is crazy. But, I mean, I saw him so many times get the ball to Judkins, get the ball to, Henderson through the air, especially Henderson, right? Like, I saw it multiple times last year. So, hoping this week that's what they can do, because the Chargers, I feel like they'll bring some pressure to us. But that defensive line, I think
he's just got to get confident. Like, running back, I think, is such a difficult position. I've talked to a few of the guys, not on the Raiders, just guys in general. And, it's like anything. Like, if you're not getting the reps that you need to get, and I'm sorry, getting the ball in your gut and having to break 2 tackles just to get back to the line of scrimmage, those aren't good reps, right? Like, if you were a hitter and every time you walked up to the plate, you were at an 0-2 count, you're not going to have a good batting average. You're not going to hit for a lot of home runs. You're not going to drive in a lot of – like, it's just not going to happen. And to me, right now, Ashton Jeanty's stepping up to the plate every time. He's got an 0-2 count. And that's tough, man. Like, it's tough. So,
it is. No, 100%, bro. I think, we just got to help him out.
Got to get him in space. If you get him in space, I think it's like a shooter. A shooter needs to see that ball go through. And when he sees the ball go through, it's like, look out. And I think that's what Jeanty needs. He just needs to see the ball go through.
Yeah. Now, one thing I was happy about, because this was I was worried about, because I study running backs. That's my thing. But I was worried about his pass blocking coming in, because at Boise, I don't know, either he didn't really pay attention to it or whatever the case, or but it dramatically improved So I was very happy to see that because I feel like without him and doing what he did as far as the blitz pickup,
Yep.
Geno's probably not getting that many yards through the ground. You know what I mean? I mean, through the air. I saw so many blitz pickups he had on Sunday that was so beautiful. So without him, I give him that shout out, man. I don't think Geno has that big of a day if he doesn't do what he does.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Now, again, like there's certain reps where I'm like, I wish he would have been able to get there. But again, like they were bringing a lot of pressure. And again, I feel like I just make so many excuses for the grass. But I heard from multiple of the guys, they were like, if you were planted, people were pushing you because you didn't have the anchor to like, anchor yourself in and really like push somebody back. So that's something that I heard from one of the Raiders offensive linemen. And a few of the times when I watched Jeanty, like I feel like he braced for impact was the block instead of like making the block, right? I think of it when you're trying to head a soccer ball. If you let that ball hit you, it's going to hurt. You go after it, it's not going to hurt nearly as much. So like there were times like that, but I just feel like the narrative around Jeanty got way too crazy. I mean, I looked at PFF grade and he's got a 27 PFF blocking grade. I mean, again, like I didn't think that he was amazing, but he still did a good enough job. And I've been hearing the yards per carry. I've been hearing everything, Chris Sims or whoever the other day was like, he didn't look good to me. I'm like, well, Chris, I don't know how you think. I mean, again, like where do you want him to do? Right. Like Justin Jefferson didn't look good in the first quarter either, with JJ McCarthy, but that's because JJ McCarthy couldn't throw a football. Right. Like, I think people
let's
go
be
with
honest
narratives.
with ourselves, though. Like, no rookie running back really shined to me. I mean, I don't really look around the league and be like, oh, my God, I'm blown away. Everybody was talking about Henderson. He didn't really have that good of a game against us. Hampton, I wasn't impressed by Hampton at all last Friday. I mean, he had a couple good runs, but up to this point, I haven't been super impressed. I mean, best guy I've seen
to me,
RJ Harvey.
He made a really boneheaded run. I forget what run it was, and late in the game, you ran out of bounds, right? Like, that's the type of shit that's going to drive Harbaugh nuts. I guarantee you the first play Harbaugh showed Hampton was you ran out of bounds here in a really clutch situation against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, can't do that.
Can't do
so
it.
I'm with you 100%.